everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 5 of One Piece LA. I keep saying it, I'm going to keep saying it. This has been a fantastic ride. It's wonderful in so many ways. It captures the pure spirit of the original manga and anime, as well as introduces a lot of new takes on things, some of which are even better than how they're done originally. So last time we finished the Syrup Village arc. We defeated Captain Kuro with the Gomu Gomu no Bell, and we freed Miss Kaya, and she even got to have a kiss with Usopp, and it was adorable. It was super cute. We got the Going Merry as the next member of the crew, Usopp and the Going Merry as the next members of the crew. And on top of that, Garp is now chasing them down. But Luffy has acknowledged Garp is his grandfather in front of everyone. Which, again, a lot of the Garp stuff and everything didn't happen till later in the manga and anime. But they're kind of like pushing that forward a lot quicker, a lot earlier here, which isn't a bad thing by any means. It's just different, and different isn't inherently bad. And I like what they've been doing with Garp and Kobe, so I have no real complaints there. But they're chasing down, and now what is usually in the manga and anime revealed in post Water 7 has now been revealed here. Garp is Luffy's grandfather. And so with this big change, I wonder how they're going to handle this. I wonder how this is going to go, because this episode starts the Baratie arc. And so how are we going to address them getting away from Garp and Kobe and all them? Yes, the Going Merry was said to be the fastest ship around. Usopp was very proud of that and was very excited to mention that. And I don't think Usopp was lying at that part. When he was talking about the ship, I think he was genuinely excited to talk about the ship. Because as we know in the manga and anime, Usopp has a very special connection to the Going Merry because of it coming from Kaya. And in this, we see that it's actually built up a little more with him just having an appreciation and love for the ship already as well. So it actually means even more to him here. And that's not to discount what it means in the manga and anime. It's just, there's more to it, and that's interesting. And again, not bad at all. So far there's been very little in this that I could even nitpick as a negative. There's a couple things I wish I would have seen, and a couple things that's I'm surprised they didn't include that, like Django in the last arc. But nothing that breaks the series, nothing that hurts it that much. Just certain things that I would have liked to see better, or I would have liked to see more. Such as Usopp doing more to try and fight against Kuro and protect Kaya. I just wish there was a little bit more of that. It doesn't hurt the series that there wasn't, but it could have been better if it were there. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're going to the Baratie arc this time, which means we're going to get Sanji, we're going to get Chef Zeph, we're going to get Don Krieg, possibly Gin as well. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about his casting, so I'm not 100% on that. But I would kind of hope so. I don't think we're going to have Pearl. I don't think Pearl is going to be in this. I believe Patty and Carnate were cast. At least Patty was, I know. But they're very minor. You could take them out or lessen their roles, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But the big thing we're going to get is Mihawk. The Zoro Mihawk fight. And even though that's not part of Sanji's story in this arc and everything, it's a very big, important thing for Zoro's character arc, as it sets his goal even harder than ever before, as well as kind of gives you a bit of look at the ceiling for this series. You get to see the world's strongest swordsman, literally Zoro's goal. And it's going to be really exciting to see how that's done. Plus, I've actually heard that the Zoro fight, the Zoro Mihawk fight, is one of the most expensive moments of this series. When they were making the series and all, it's one of the most expensive parts of the series that they had to work on. I don't know why. I don't know all the details, but that's what I heard, and that's pretty interesting, actually. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's done. We also have a couple other notable changes that might affect this arc as well. One of the big things is that Arlong has had a bigger focus already, to where normally he's not shown until Arlong Park, but we've already gotten to meet Arlong in this version. And it's understandable with the way this is being done that they're trying to set up the main villain of this season earlier, rather than in the manga and anime where it's like sorted by arcs. Each arc has its own villain, and for the most part there's not a lot of setup until the Grand Line comes into play, where you start to set up Crocodile multiple arcs ahead of Alabasta. And that's done at various other places as well, of course. Kaido is first set up in Thriller Bark, and he doesn't come into play until well into the future after that in Wano. Excuse me. But yeah. So once we get to the Grand Line, we'll start... That's more of when that starts in the manga and anime, but here, they're doing that right from the start with the East Blue. And again, not a bad thing, just different. So I'm excited, and it looks like Buggy is going to be working with Arlong a little bit here, so that's going to be interesting too to see how that fares. Now there's a couple of things I'm wondering how they're going to do in this arc. Like I said, I don't think they're going to have Pearl, but like, are they going to have like the little ship that Patty and Carne ride out on to try and act with? Does Zeph, is he going to still have his peg leg? And how are they going to do the entire flashback with the ship's capsizing and everything? There's a lot I'm wondering about how this is going to go down. But like I said, I'm very excited because we're going to get to meet Sanji, and he's our final member of the crew for the East Blue. Technically, Nami is, because if you want to count the fact that she's not technically part of the crew at this point. But she did join them already, even if she's, saying she's not part of the crew. Though Zoro's not really, like, inherently agreed to be part of the crew yet either. Again, this version's a little different than in the manga and anime, because in those, Zoro agrees to be the crew, like, right in Shellstown before they defeat Morgan. But again, with the different medium, they have to pace things differently, handle things a little differently, so it's fine. Either way, let's get into this and see what we have to eat at the Baratier. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Fuck. I'm still crying. Pretty much everyone is already acknowledging that this is the best live-action adaptation of an anime that we've seen. it's not by any means an unpopular opinion. But I feel like there aren't as many people acknowledging just how good this is. Because I've mentioned, there is a lot about this that is different. Not just in this arc, the Baratier arc, but just in this series, there is a lot that is different. There's a lot that has been changed, rearranged, stuff that has been taken out, or completely altered in some way. And again, went into this knowing that, because Oda made a statement prior to the release that that was going to happen and that needed to happen for the change in medium. And plus, it's just obvious. It's like certain things that were in the manga and anime just would not work in the realm of live action. Like, you can get away with some things, but there are certain parts that are a little too goofy and silly that would just be unreasonably difficult to pull off in live action. So they change things. They update things, and so things are going to be different. And like I've said, I believe some things are done better. I actually like Garp a lot more in this than in the original material. Because I have some issues with Garp in the original material, just in various ways, which I'm not going to get all into here, but I think the way he's handled here is a lot better. I feel like he's just a more entertaining, interesting, and depth-filled character. And like I mentioned, I actually like Sham from the Syrup Village arc, the one black cat pirate with Kuro. I liked her in this more than I liked the original version in the manga and anime. Kind of Bucci too, actually, thinking about it. Both of them had just more personality and character to them, where in the manga and anime, they're just weird cat brothers. In this, it was an interesting decision to make Sham female, for one. But also, like, they have more of an actual active dynamic with each other, and they have more personality and character. They feel more complete as characters. And I like that. And then, even outside of just characters, there's certain aspects about things that I like a little more. With, for example, the Orange Town arc. Even outside of just Buggy being amazing because Jeff Ward is just, like, perfect for the role. You also have the fact that the arc is very constrained and different. Like, you don't have the stuff with Shoo Shoo. You don't have a lot of stuff with Mayor Boodle trying to fight Buggy and stuff. You don't have the stuff with Moji and his lion Richie. Like, Moji is in there, but Richie's not at all. There's a lot they took out, but I actually like it better in this. It feels more interesting, and the only thing I kind of wish was in there was the Shoo Shoo stuff. I don't mind the stuff with Moji and Richie being taken out. I don't mind a lot of the setup with the town being taken out. I know there's been at least some people who have minded that, but I don't. I think that's fine. I think that's a genuinely okay thing to do because it allows it to feel more focused and comes across a lot better. You get the best stuff of the arc without any of the stuff that could feel a little bit like filler. Not saying it does feel like filler, but also even the stuff at the beginning of the Orange Town arc in the manga and anime with like Nami meeting Luffy and everything, it's like you didn't need to do that because that was already part of this. So I actually think I like it better for how it was done here. And I'm saying all of this as a precursor to mention how I felt about this episode. Um, in the original manga and anime, Don Krieg was not killed by Mihawk beforehand. The Armada was taken out. Gin did come starving and looking for food, and Sanji fed him. But then he went back to get Don Krieg and the rest of the crew who were also starving and injured, and brought Don Krieg back to the Baratier to feed him, to get him fed as well. But that's clearly not going to happen here, because Don Krieg is dead. Gin literally said in this that he was the only survivor. And unless he's lying, and we do get Don Krieg next episode, which at this point I'm honestly kind of doubting, there's going to have to be something different, because even the Mihawk thing was in this one. It's like, obviously we're going to have the Sanji flashback. We're going to get the stuff with Zeph and everything. The only thing I can think of is if they bring Arlong and or Buggy back into play again. And then what's going to happen with Nami, because she didn't leave when she was supposed to leave. So is she going to still try to leave? Is she going to still take the Mary? Because normally that's what happens. She takes the Mary and leaves ahead of the rest of the crew. And so, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But even with not knowing how they're going to handle the next episode and how they're going to handle the rest of this Baratier arc, this, at least first episode here, at least the content within it, was actually drastically better than the actual Baratier arc in the manga and anime. And I don't say that with a grain of salt, because I like the Baratier arc a lot. But there are a couple points in it where it does drag a little bit, and honestly, Don Krieg is not the most interesting villain. A lot of people say Kuro is one of the worst villains, but it's like, Kuro is a lot better than, like, Don Krieg. Don Krieg is just a meathead. Kuro actually has personality to him. So, I'm not actually upset that Krieg was killed ahead of time, that he's not going to be here. That doesn't bother me at all, you know? And what we did get in this was, again, just better than what was in the actual arc. Like, Full Body is still there, but he has a much smaller role. He's not as important. You still have Patty. No, not really Carne. Carne doesn't seem to be there at all, but Patty is there, and he bickers with Sanji. We have Zeph bickering with Sanji. Luffy is still working as a chore boy. The reason is just different. Plus, you have the discussions about, Vice Admiral Garp being Luffy's grandfather. There's a lot of things that are different and changed around and worked a little differently, but I like it more. Is this a weird thing to say? Like, I genuinely think this was better. Even the lead up to the fight with Mihawk, I think, was better. Because in the manga and anime, Mihawk just kind of floats up on his little boat, chasing down the remnants of the Krieg pirates. He attacks them, and then Zoro challenges him because, same reasons. He's the goal and everything, he's the world's greatest swordsman, yada yada. But in this, instead, we have Mihawk sent by Garp, which is very different. And on top of that, him meeting Usopp at the bar and then being introduced to everyone and everything, I loved that, actually. That was actually a really cool idea. And the fight itself was mostly the same. The fight between Mihawk and Zoro was mostly the same. The only difference, I think, was that Nami was there. Because I believe she had already left at the time in the manga and anime when Zoro would be fighting Mihawk. In fact, I think it's like right before. I think right before they're told by Johnny and Yosaku, who aren't in this, um, they're told that Nami stole the ship and left and everything, and then Mihawk kind of strolls up like right after that. I believe that's how it went down. Um, but instead, she's here for this. So is she still gonna leave? Like maybe she's not gonna understand, and she's going to like be like, I can't be around here for this kind of thing, and leaves and takes the ship because of Zoro's fight with Mihawk. But there was also the thing where she called Zoro her friend, and it's like, this is obviously setting up a lot for Kokiyashi Village in Arlong Park. I'm just wondering how this is gonna go down. But yeah, it's like even outside of like just the Zoro Mihawk stuff, um, Usopp getting like absolutely smashed was fucking amazing. I didn't even know I needed to see that, but it was amazing. It was just absolutely fantastic, just as a concept. Him getting hammered and dancing like a goofball is just amazing. Um, I just really enjoyed that. It was just kind of out of the blue, but Zoro and Sanji kind of having a little bit of a drinking game there. Or not Zoro and Sanji, Zoro and Nami. I don't know why I said Sanji there. Um, Sanji's first interaction with everyone, and getting flirty with Nami. That's another thing. It was already revealed pre-release that Sanji was not going to be a pervert in this. That he would still be flirty and still be a ladies' man, but he wasn't going to be like creepy, like he can sometimes get in the manga and anime, which I'm very happy about. I think it's a very good decision. And yeah, I have no problem with him being flirty. I have no problem with him like loving the ladies. That's fine. I just don't like it when he's a fucking creepy, like, asshole about it. Honestly. Um, but yeah, he was great in this. I love how he did light up when talking about the all blue. It's like, yes, that's so good. And like, he seemed really happy when Luffy complimented his dish and all. It's like just so many things were so good in this. Luffy confronting Zeph like angrily and all was fantastic. It's just, oh my god, it's just so good. It's so good. They even had the part at the beginning. It's like, again, that doesn't normally happen at this part of the series, but having Garp throw the fucking cannonball, just yeet it at them, and Luffy's response is to use the Gomu Gomu no Fusen, the Gum Gum balloon, and it's just like, oh my god, this is so perfect. I love this so much. It's just, I was literally in tears at the end of this episode. And it's not just because of the Zoro Mihawk fight being so perfect. It's because of everything. Like, this was so actively better, in my opinion, than in the original source. And it's like, while I found like Orange Town and everything to be overall better as well, it's like there were some things that kept it back for me as well. This one was more actively, like, just exceptionally better. And again, that's not to insult the manga and anime at all, because again, I like how it was performed in that too. I genuinely do. I really do like the Baratier arc. But I'm going to be genuine and honest here. I think that this was better handled so far. Now, I don't know where it's going to go from here, because again, big changes, but I'm so impressed, and I can't wait to see the next one. But we're going to wait at least a couple days. It seems like we're just doing 2 episodes a week. We've been doing 2 episodes a week every week. So we're going to obviously do episode 6 this week, and then next week we'll do 7 and 8. And it actually kind of works out that way, too. Because even though the first 2 episodes were 2 different arcs, the Romance Dawn and Orange Town, every other set of 2 episodes has been 1 arc. Because Syrup Village was last week, this week is Baratier, and then next week's going to be Arlong Park. So it actually works out that way. And it's like, yeah, I could have extended it further and just done one episode a week, but with as much as I'm loving this, it's like one episode a week is just not going to be enough for me. I'm not going to like marathon it all at once, but 2 episodes a week I think is good. I think that's pretty fair. I think I can do that. It's going to suck having it finish up next week, though. But we do know that a second season is pretty much confirmed. Even the crew have said that they've already got season 2 like in the works, that they've already got preparations for it. They just have to wait for the strikes to be over to begin working on it. And at that point, they said like 12 to 18 months after that. So, hey, that's a good sign. Hopefully these strikes end soon. Not just for that, obviously, but just so these, writers and actors can get paid fairly. That's honestly more important. But I just am so excited for the future of this series, this live action adaptation. And I hope that this encourages others who want to do live action adaptations to work more closely with the original creators, so that these adaptations can be more true to the feel and vibe of the source material, while also, of course, changing things for the medium, but that they can at least feel more authentic than a lot of the others we've gotten prior to this. I can't speak for all of them, but yeah. It's just... I hope that this sets a new standard for anime adaptations. Live action adaptations of anime, I should specify. Because this is definitely the best that I've ever seen. By a long mile. And again, in some ways it's actually better than the original. And in some ways it's not as good. I'll admit that too. There are some things that just aren't as good. But I'm excited nonetheless. So for now, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of One Piece LA? Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.